Why gaming is unhealthy. When I was in high school, there was a game called RuneScape. It was this online multiplayer game, and I got so addicted to it that I would spend 8 to 10 hours a day playing this game. And I spent a little bit less time on my homework, you could say. And I think this went on for a few months where I was highly addicted to this RuneScape game because everyone was on it and it was like the place to be. It's kind of like what Fortnite is today. And I've never actually played Fortnite. I don't really know what it's all about because I am an ex-gaming addict. But this is why I wanted to do the video, because I do think that gaming can be unhealthy. I also think it has its benefits. For instance, it works with your hand-eye coordination, I suppose. Works with your cognitive abilities, your problem-solving skills, your ability to interact with others, especially if you're introverted. Maybe this is a platform for you because you can interact on an online community now. So there's a lot of that. There's a lot of the benefits. But I'm noticing that a lot of people maybe aren't really using it for the benefits, but they're just using it because it's an addiction. And it can definitely be an addiction, and it can affect your health. And there aren't really any restrictions when it comes to video games. You can get into it, and then you can lose track of time. And there's no real cap on it. Unless the parents come in and say, hey, that's enough, you're cut off, go outside and enjoy the fresh air. So there's a level of discipline there that a lot of people maybe are struggling with. And that's why they develop these gaming addictions. With this Fortnite, it seems like people are putting in 12, 14, 16 hours a day just straight playing of this game. And it's really not a good thing for your health because, well, too much of any one thing is not really good for your health. I mean, that's really just the way it is. But over time, you start to forget about taking care of your body and eating properly, and you lose track of time. It's such an immersive experience. Gaming has evolved to the point where it can feel very realistic. Back in the day, it didn't feel realistic. It just felt kind of tacky. And you had no choice but to take a break because your eyes would be popping out of your head because of the graphics quality just not being that good. Today, it just feels very real. So you're less likely to leave the experience because fake worlds feel much more fun and exciting than the real world. So what happens is we're teaching ourselves to not really challenge ourselves beyond this fake world. Sure, we might be the best in this world, but then if we leave the gaming world, what are we? We're nothing. But we're something special in this gaming world, and it's no different from a gambler. Well, a gambler's world is a casino, but if that gambler leaves the casino, they don't have a world. This is how addictions really kind of pop up. I remember another addiction that I had was to Grand Theft Auto. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas. Yeah. It was a fantastically built game, and it was one of those games that was so immersive to me that I could never leave the game. I constantly played the game. I simply couldn't get away from it. It was just such a brilliantly done game. Grand Theft Auto is known for these immersive worlds, and they're massive. They're massive worlds that can keep you entertained for hours. And that's what I did. And I got to a point where I was like at 98% complete for the game, and I needed 2% more to finish the game. And I'd spend months trying to figure out the 2%. And I never got it. I never got to the end of the game. But I have to say that's one of those things that really affected my ability to concentrate on other things, and I was always thinking about the game. I'd go to school and I'd think about the game. I don't know how I managed to stay afloat with my grades. It's insane. But this is my entire leisure time spent on this game, and I can't see it as being a beneficial thing if you're on it for that long. Unless you really want to be a professional. You want to be a professional gamer, that's like your thing, then maybe there's a career for it. But you have to be at the top echelons of video gaming in order to get to that level. You have to really love it. Like, really love it. Beyond the typical person. And I was never really that kind of person. I was really enjoying it to a point where it was just unhealthy for me. And it became an addiction. If it starts consuming your mind and you can't turn it off, like, this is what's on my mind right now, and you simply can't shut that off, your brain's constantly thinking about it, well then the reality is you gotta look at your situation and say, hey, this is a cap for me. I can only spend 2 hours at most per day. But it can certainly be unhealthy. So, like anything in life, gaming can be unhealthy. No different from exercise or anything. When you're overworking yourself and you're burning yourself out, I'm seeing a lot of YouTubers these days that are into video games, and what happens is they're so devoted to growing their channel or what have you that they're playing video games constantly, because in order to keep up, that's what they have to do. And what's happening is it's becoming an unhealthy addiction just for the sake of making a living. So I'd really consider, before you get into it, if gaming is really the thing for you. For me, I have to literally not be around games for too long. I think I have a Nintendo Classic right now, and I never use it. Unless I'm out with friends or family, I might use it. But otherwise, I avoid it like the plague. There's nothing that I will use when it comes to video games in my house. It's just too dangerous. Too dangerous for me, because I don't want to get hooked back onto that. I'm okay with getting addicted to healthy things like fruit and vegetables and meat. I'll get addicted to that. But of course, I can't overconsume that either, because that's not the best thing. So, what am I getting at here? Well, not just for gaming, but for all things in life, moderation is key. And even moderation is key. Moderation in moderation. So, that's all I can really say about that. But of course, I have been so out of this online gaming world for many years now that I don't really know too much about it. Maybe some of you might be wondering, how did you get out of it, Trev? How did you get out of gaming? Well, I think I started getting out of gaming after high school, when things became real in life. University got real for me. It got so real for me that I just simply didn't pursue video games anymore. It wasn't really my thing. So maybe it was an age thing, but as I got older and older, I just was like, what are my priorities? And things just sort of kind of fell into place. I don't even think this is a good enough answer, to be honest. I think I just found other things to do to fill my days. Found other things to do to fill my day so that I wouldn't be playing video games. school took up a big portion. When I was going to university, studying, just being on campus, being away from video games, feeling guilty if I did play, what my parents would think, stuff like that. So I just naturally got away from it. And you probably have a reality check with yourself time and time again. And if something's really damaging to you, you start to have a reality check. Like if your eyes are popping out of your head, you start to realize, hey, that's not good for me. And then you just naturally decide to move away. But it has to be so damaging to you that you realize that a change is necessary. And I hope you realize that before it becomes an addiction for you. I think it just got to a point where I was doing nothing else but video games, and then I just stopped. And then the amount of costs associated with it. I mean, with physical discs, you'd have to go and spend $70, $80 for one video game, and there's a cost element to it. I'm thinking to myself, is this the best use of my money? And the reality is, it's not. And interestingly enough, games got so good that I actually lost interest. See, I liked the old-fashioned, classic kind of games. But now they're so realistic that, I don't know, I feel like I don't feel attached to it. I like the fact that a game might be fake, but now it's so immersive, I just don't want to get into it. Also because I don't want to get addicted again. But anyway, how did I get out of it? Well, I found other things to take over my time, other pursuits, and that's helped. So hopefully you can find some sort of structure in your life, whether it be exercise or other hobbies, that can help you stay healthy with gaming. I guess that's the end. That's the end goal. Because if you really love it, you don't have to get rid of it, but understand that it can become unhealthy. So that's all I've got. Till next time. Toodles.